Hello, this is my Module 9 for AEP 859. So, the case at hand, school is posting low scores for students in a middle school, and they're posting scores below what they expected. So they want to find out how they can get this changed, and this kind of goes through the process of what they did. So, one of the changes they made was the change of schedule. They changed to 84-minute blocks to greater emphasize on reading, especially in math and English. Those involved the students because of the low test scores that they want to increase, the teachers because they're changing how the material is delivered to the students and what they're emphasizing. And then also the other tasks to change are focus on writing because it's the short answer and the essay questions that the students are really having problems with. So legal or ethical issues, the legal issues, it says in the story that the students that require a more differentiated lesson plan are not getting that or getting very little of that. So that's a huge issue legally because they are legally supposed to get a differentiated lesson plan to assist them, and this could help them with their test scores, even though they may still not be as high as a school would like. It still would help these individual students. And then ethical, different family cultures need to be represented as well. So the school should dig into the cultural factors because it's a very high African American population in the school, even for students, but staff is mostly Caucasian. So getting to see that the culture in the classroom can really also do a lot of good. This may be corrected by working with students and their families in the classroom so that they can help out and really understand what the students are expected to do. So, a synthesis, the school is desperately trying to figure out how to bring up students' test scores in a middle school. So that's really kind of the gist of what's going on here, and what they're trying to do to get those test scores up. So the facts, the school is posting low scores from their students. And again, it's mostly just the short answer and the essay questions are getting low scores or zeros on, or not even answering the questions. So that's where writing comes into play because they may not know how to write what they want to. They may not understand what they need to write or understand why they need to. When it comes to reading, they might not be able to read the questions or understand what the question is asking. So that's where reading and writing really come into play. The school changed block to 84 minutes to focus on the math and the reading. Again, when we're testing, it's mostly reading and math that we test on. So those are where it's really important for the students to understand, especially how to read, say, story problems and understand what's being asked. So that's where those two combined can really help out. And then again, the focus on writing specifically. And then all students are given the same work. Again, it goes back to the students that should be differentiated, have differentiated work, so they may be able to understand better and be able to get their scores up as well. And then students that need differentiation are not getting it. Cultural background is not being taken into account. Again, when culture is not being taken into account, when it's such a big population in the school, it can really have an effect on everybody, no matter where they're at, especially in such a big school anyways, where it can be hard to get that personal connection with the students and make sure they feel important, and just kind of have a sense of well-being, because the well-being of the students is very important throughout the school. So this can take care of a lot just by helping with the cultural background. So we want to prioritize the conflict of the student needing differentiated learning is not receiving it and could cause a problem with the stakeholders if the parents of the student and the town find out that the students are getting differentiated in work. That could cause a problem. Again, it could also cause a problem legally. So then the school board gets involved if something comes to a lawsuit or anything like that. And so then that could really cause a bad name for the school in a whole situation. Individuals with an important stake of the outcome are the students because, again, I mean, it's their test scores. It's really important for them to be able to know how to take tests and work their way up through school and then maybe potentially get into a good college and a good career. Teachers, because they have to, they kind of depend on, being able to help students and show that they can teach students, so their reputation is at stake. And they personally, I mean, as a teacher, want to make sure the students are learning and doing a good job. No teacher really wants a student to fail or anything, so it really helps the teacher out to know that the students are doing well. And in administration, again, administration is changing a lot of things, going to block scheduling and changing how the curriculum is done and stuff like that. Those are huge changes that the administration has to take on. So they want to make sure that this is actually going to help their students in what they're accomplish the goal that they're trying to. I'd like to learn more about how long the teachers have lived in the same area and taught in the school. What that information would be is how familiar are the teachers with the culture of the school. Because if they're all new teachers, I mean they're Caucasians, but if they're all new teachers from different areas that aren't used to the situation, they may need to be taught how to work with bringing in culture without offending anybody and not making anybody feel poor about where they come from. I'd also like to learn more about how the school is working with the culture of the area, with it being predominantly African American. So how does the school reach out to families? What's the situation of the families? Is it's pretty low poverty because such a high amount of students get reduced or free lunches. So how does the school reach out to those to the families of the school, no matter what their financial well-being is? How does the school reach out to the community and help assist with that? I don't think I know enough to make a decision, as I believe that the culture of the area is very important. Again, it comes back to what they're learning in school, how they're learning it, what needs to be done with that. And the culture of the town and the family is really important when it comes to that. So options are not making any decisions, and changes need to be made, obviously. And so as a student, as the students are in need of assistance. So this is not really an option. Consider the most comprehensive action. Put together all the ideas that may assist our students in all areas. This is a really good idea because we really need to get a whole package put together and kind of start from the ground up, kind of see where the students are at and where we need to start from there. And identify intermediate strategies, not ruling anything out. Ideas need to be discarded if they are useless or unlikely. This makes sure that to focus our time on the ideas that can help out. If we are just keeping all the ideas on the table, we are not able to spend as much time on the ideas that really could help. Now, we may throw something off the table and come back to it later. That's fine. But ideas that don't make any sense, why keep them around? Why have them there? It just can kind of be a waste of time. So we need to make sure we focus our time specifically on ideas that are going to help out our school, our students, and our teachers. So I feel option 2 is the best available. Again, we need to put together a whole package, make sure it's good for the students, good for the teachers, and good for the school. Um, and so we need to make sure we understand what the students need and how we get it to them. We need to look at not just the current class, but we also need to look at the future classes, because we're not just trying to help this class, we're trying to help all the classes of the future. So we need to make sure that whatever we bring in will last the duration of however long we want to do it for, until we find something that may work better, or until this doesn't work anymore. This will give us a chance to make sure that all areas are covered, again, in the future, and the students know what they're doing, and our check their employability, for when they do leave school. So plan of action. First thing, I want to make sure that our students who need differentiation are getting what they need. Again, this is top priority because it's the law and it's what's best for those students. So we need to make sure they're getting what they need. And I'm also going to work on closing the cultural gap. This will help us work with students on a more personal level for better understanding, and again, work on the well-being of the students. So if we know, certain things about students, we can help adjust to that situation. If students need a little extra time or anything like that, we can adjust to that and make sure that their well-being is put forward. And then working with students, doing informal evaluations will help know if the students understand the information. We can work with the writing process and see if this is where the students are actually having the trouble. The students may know the information, they may just not know how to write it out. So with informal evaluations, this is a great way for us to see if the student does know the information, and if the writing is really the area we need to really focus on. Or if they don't know the information, then we know that's where we need to start. So justification, in this situation, making sure that the students are getting assistance where they need it is imperative. The writing, the math, and the cultural background being observed. This will not only help the students' well-being, but it will also help them with their future in high school and in the workforce once they graduate and move on to having a career or college. And then this also helps promote collaborative effort with all the stakeholders. So the teachers coming together, putting together a plan, the stakeholders, the families. When the families know that we're working on something to better the students, they really tend to put forth their best effort to assist as well. And so it's just something for the parents and the stakeholders to know, the community, so that they know what's going on in the school, and there's no, it's very transparent for the community, which is really important. And keeping a positive attitude and making sure that teachers' opinions are heard will help the process go smoothly and promote cooperation with the staff. Again, we need the staffs to be on board with this and to understand what the expectations are for them as well, so that they are comfortable and any questions are answered, because that positivity will move on to the students and will really help out everybody when it comes to working with this whole process.